What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Chuck here, up $1,941 on the day. This day was kind of crazy. I was up $200, and I was down $500, and I was break even for most of the day. And then all of a sudden, the last trade of the day made me really green. But it's a long road to get to there. I made so many trades today. It is straight embarrassing. Look at this. This is way more than I typically like to do. But nonetheless, it turned out green for me. And let's just get into the trade. So first and foremost, the leading gapper, or one of them, was CLSN. Got an upgrade by Oppenheimer. Really thought this would take off. It was a $9 price target on it. Really thought it would get some momentum. And out of the gates, it kind of dipped down. And I went long looking for the high day break. I got long right here at 383. Let's go ahead and put that right there. Actually, let's use something a little bit better. Guideline, okay. So we'll call that 383. And it popped all the way up to 96 and came back down. And I was really hoping for that break of 4. And I should have taken my profits, but I'm just so used to, I've been conditioned that these stocks want to run. That wasn't the case today. You'll see that I made that mistake over and over again. I had profit and I didn't get out. I ended up selling for a loss. I think that I did multiple times on CLSN. So when the market changes, you have to change how you trade as well. We're not seeing crazy runners today, and I should have noticed that Friday because there was no really crazy runners on Friday or Monday, and the market's kind of cooling off a little bit on this um, holiday week of trading. So anyway, I ended up losing money on this, and you know, not how I wanted to start my opening trade. SREX was my next trade. This one just hit my high day scanner. I know it's a former runner. I know it's been wanting to move. I was really kind of hoping for the daily candle over candle break right here. I went long looking for the high day break. As volume was coming in, I went long right here, popped up, and I sold inside this candle as it was coming back down at 427. So didn't sell it where I should have, but nonetheless it was profit. It was $100 on 2,000 shares. KTOV, I think this was a news play. I can't remember honestly. It hit my high day scanner, and when it did that with, I think it was news. I could be wrong, but I know it hit my scanner, and I was just jumping in the stocks that were hitting my scanners uh, today early on. Like I said, I hadn't changed my trading style, even though the market had changed. So here I am trading like it was, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of last week, where things would just go nuts regardless of what it was. So I was jumping in, and as soon as I jumped in, I think I almost top. Yeah, I got 1 penny away from top ticking the high day, even the high day for the whole day. Went long, sold off, and I did not like that, so I ended up selling for about a 9 cent loss there, $180. CLSN, this one was a 5 minute play. Kind of see the sell off here, and got the break candle over candle on the 5 minute right there. You can actually kind of see that here on the 1 minute as well. What I liked about the 1 minute chart, you can even see it more, is it made a higher low right here. So it's almost like a double bottom, but a little bit better because it was a higher low. So I went long on the break of this candle right here at 940. Okay, so we got filled at 947, and looking for that VWAP break. We got it. Popped up to, um, or I said 947, 347. Popped up to 359 for me. That's where I ended up selling inside this candle right here. So nice win on 2,000 shares. CLSN again. I think the chat room started to buy this. That's why I went heavier. I got filled twice. Basically a 358 average, and I ended up selling for a loss on that average, 4,000 shares. Again, I'm trying to get these massive moves, and it's just not the market right now. I've got to go back to trading how I used to trade. So I ended up losing about 4 cents on 4,000 shares on this trade. So I kept trying to play the 1 minute chart on this, thinking that this thing would really get going. I thought it was really good news. I really thought it would just start to take off. I played it right here for the 1 minute candle over candle. Got kind of a really good fill too, 367, popped up to 374. Any other day I would have sold on this pop of 370. Today I'm holding. I'm holding for some dumb reason. What I ended up selling this for basically break even. Lost a half penny on it. So it was ended up to be a $10–15 loss for me when I was profitable, and I just haven't, at this point in the day, I hadn't changed my trading style. ACHV, this one was just hitting the high day scanner. One of the chat rooms I was in also was looking at it. I went long looking for that 150 break, and I did what I should have been doing all along, is scalping, and I scalped it, and I got long at 148 right here, popped up, and I sold it at 155. Did end up doing quite the move because the chat room pumped it, but again, I got back to what I should have been doing, and I was profitable because of it. CYCC, this one kind of hit my scanners, and again, I'm jumping in these stocks like they're gonna run, like they're all gonna run, and I end up losing money on this because of that. Popped up on it, I got filled at 185. I mean, the absolute top tick, this 1 minute candle, and I ended up selling. Let's see, for it looks like I got pretty lucky. I sold for a 2 cent win right here at 185. I got back in. Okay, I see that right here. Back in looking for that high day break. I was really looking for it to just kind of break out over this level here and maybe get into the $2 range. And went long again, 185. Just couldn't do it. Could not break out of this 186 level. Just sellers kept coming in, and I ended up selling for a 1 penny loss 2 minutes later inside this red candle here. So held my losses short, which is nice. You know, cut them loose before they became really, really bad. But nonetheless, just not this morning. Just was not trading up to par. WPCS, this was another one that was hitting my scanner. It's also one I'm familiar with. It's a low float stock that can run. You know, it had 3 million shares of volume. I was really thinking some of the chat rooms I subscribed to would play this just because the daily chart looks so nice. Nice level of support here. It's been consolidating for quite some time, and it's just ready to move back up. And I went long right here when I saw the volume come in. I took 4,000 shares at 192, and it just sat there forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unreal. I can't believe chat rooms aren't pumping this over $2 to get just a $2 break, if anything. And I had to hold it for a few minutes, much longer than I like to. Sold half at 194 for a 2 cent win. Sold the other half at 193 as it was coming back down here. Just to take profit. But again, I thought this one was going to go. It didn't, and I got rid of the stock for a small win. RMGN, this one had some news out. This one frustrated the heck out of me, to be honest. I got in when I heard the news. Can't remember what it was. Got in at 118, popped up to 124, and then someone just dropped the bottom on this thing. Dropped 8 cents pretty quickly, and it just, all the volume on this thing dried up, and it was just very annoying. So I ended up selling on the next green candle on the curl up just to get out of it. I lost about 2 pennies on that, 40 bucks. AT&T was my next trade. This one had news out that the judge presiding over the merger case between the U.S. government and Time Warner and AT&T, they're swapping out the judge, and I thought that would be a good thing for this stock. TWX ripped at this exact time, and you can kind of see that pop right here. It moved up, and AT&T really just did not follow suit. So it was a sympathy play. It popped up a few times. I was profitable on it. Here's the candle I went long, and inside this candle popped up over 50 a couple times. It just couldn't hold it and sold off. So as it was coming back down, I got rid of it for a loss of 2. NEOT, this one, I was really hoping we could break this level on the daily chart. And this is actually one I'll probably watch in tomorrow if we could break over this 150 level. There's a nice little gap to $2 that I could get into, but it hit my high day scanner. I like the daily chart, and I went long as soon as I saw it, and absolutely top ticked it right there. And as soon as I bought, boom, it fell apart pretty bad. Uh, Very upsetting. Lost about 4 on that. I ended up selling right here. And what's even more frustrating is I think it actually went high day. Yep, there it is. Much later on, and got close to that 150 level. Didn't break it, which leaves it open for tomorrow. But just real frustrating morning for me. Uh, Definitely red at this point in the day. This one, super frustrating. Forward hit my scanners. This thing just absolutely took off. As soon as I got in, shot up to almost a 150, got up to 148, looking like it was just gonna scream. And the next candle, 63,000 or 12,000 shares of volume, dropped it all the way below our starting point. So 63,000 shares shot it up, and 12,000 shares dropped it hard. When that happened, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I about called it a day right there. It's just unreal. So I had to hold this for a little bit, and I sold inside this candle just to get out of it. I ended up losing about 6 cents. It could have been way worse on it, but it was just so frustrating because this had the potential to just go blast off on it, and the market makers just killed it. GROW. This one was a buy rating, I believe it was. I can't remember by who. Nonetheless, it was news. When I heard the news, I went long. I bought basically 4,000 shares. I hit the buy button twice. It was sitting on 2,000. I just hit buy. About 4,000 shares at 307 inside this candle here. So pretty fresh. Got in pretty fresh on that news. Ended up selling the first half at 318 inside this candle right here. So a nice win on that one. Basically 11 cents. And then it was coming back down. Just the momentum ran out, and I sold the rest at 310. So nice win, but again, just no continuation on these momentum stocks right now. NTIP, I can't remember what this was. It was definitely some sort of catalyst, like I think it was like a CEO or somebody buying shares, 13D filing. I can't remember, to be honest. It was something that drew my attention to this. I went long as soon as I heard them. Again, I'm just jumping into these things. There's just no rhyme or reason to them. And got in at 279, right here. Popped up, came back down, and I had to sell, hold this for a while. And I sold for, where am I at? This is me selling right here. Sold as we were going to the low part of this area, and I just wanted out at that point. It was just driving me nuts. Lost 4 cents on the trade, $80, and as you can tell, I'm having a lot of losses, but none of them are like, you know, terrible, 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 terrible losses. I'm still taking my shots, even though some of them are bad entries. I'm still taking the shots, and I'm keeping my losses low, which is keeping my profit loss totals on the day decent. I'm not terribly red, where it's unrecoverable for the day. So it's all about just keeping your losses tight. ICON, this was hitting my high day scanner a little bit. It had the nice pop up on the 1 minute chart here. A little bit of a pullback, and then candle over candle. Looking for that high day run. I really like the daily chart because we kind of have this stair step thing going here now, and we was looking for it to eventually break over this 248 level into this nice gap that we have. It did it much later in the day, which is unfortunate because I wasn't part of it. But nonetheless, I bought at 241, 242 as it's breaking over this level, and I sold it at all at 243. Uh, this is where I bought, and I ended up selling. Had a nice pop here. I was hoping for 250 break. That's what I was hoping for, and I was very green on the trade, and it started to sell off. And inside this candle is when I sold just to make sure I had profit. So I made about $40 in the trade when I was up over 200 at one point right here. I just getting a little bit greedy. I should have sold maybe half and hope for the other half to get over 250. That just never came. ICO went, I bought it again after the 5 minute play, had pop up, pullback consolidation, and candle over candle in the 5 minute. So I went long at 241, right inside this candle here, and I ended up selling this one for a 20 cent or 2 cent win, or 1 cent win, $20 right inside this candle. As we got the curl, just not really what I was looking for. It just wasn't moving as fast as I thought it could. So cut it loose, move on. CROX, this one just hit my scanners again. Volume popped in. As soon as I got in, nothing happened. So got in at 1096 looking for that 11 break, which never came. Got up to 1099 and just couldn't do it. So held it for a little bit. Volume just dried up completely. Ended up selling for a 1 cent loss. OREX, this one again, super frustrating. I think it was patent news. I could be wrong. Popped up. I got filled at let's see, 171. Popped up here. Was green on the trade, and I ended up selling for a loss as it was coming back down and breaking our starting point of the news play. Super frustrating. And that one, all the little base hits that I had were just wiped out right there on that one trade. And just a super frustrating trade right there. ITUS, again, there's so many trades that I had today. I forget what drew me to it. Probably it was a scanner play with volume, and I think maybe one of the chat rooms I subscribed to played it. So nonetheless, they created momentum, whatever it was, and I got in at 318 right here. Oh wait, was this the one that just went crazy? No, it wasn't. All right, so went long at 318 on whatever it was that brought me to it, uh, and I sold at 326. So a nice one on this one, and is a base hit, which is all I really need to be doing. MOSY, this one I really like the daily chart on it, and I went long because we got candle over candle on the daily, looking to break this 146 level, and so I went long when I saw that right inside this candle here. Got in at 142, got the pop up, and it just didn't go anywhere for me. So I ended up selling inside this candle for about a penny win on 3,000 shares, $30. And just thinking to myself, we're so close to just breaking out here, and the volume dried up. Eventually it did hit, over this level, but again, it didn't do anything. So it ended up selling out from there. So didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Luckily, I got out with a little bit of profit. SNES, this one was a former runner. I can't remember what this was. It was some sort of news play, no doubt. And it just couldn't move for. I bought 5,000 shares right here whenever I heard whatever the news was. I can't remember it. Like I said, just couldn't move. So I saw a lot of selling coming in, and I ended up bailing at basically lost about a half penny on the trade. So I lost about $25 on it, and it just couldn't get going. Ended up selling off from there. So good to get out when I noticed it wasn't doing what I thought it was going to do. ASUR, this one hit my scanners. I liked the daily chart on it. It was breaking out kind of in this area. It was also around the $half mark. Hit my scanners. I went long on it. Got in at 1436 right here. Got a quick pop up to 1440, and I sold for a nice, 4 cents, $80 on 2,000 shares. So XNet burned me a little bit right now. I was watching the 5 minute chart, and I was just thinking, okay, it's starting to break down. It's broke this big level here. It's time to short this thing. I just got in a little early. It kind of double bottomed on me. You can see it right here. This candle and this candle. It kind of double bottomed here on the 1 minute, and from there it bounced. So I went short on this one, looking for the break of here. It didn't come. It did get it right here, but 2170 just couldn't break, and it ended up popping back up on me. And when that started to look like it was going to get some momentum to the upside, I just got out for $100 loss, minus 10 cents. And as you can see, it did do exactly that. It moved back up. Eventually, it did sell off, which, you know, whatever, but it didn't do what I thought it was going to do in the time frame that I played it, so cut it loose, move on. ICON, this one, I was just, there's a huge buyer sitting right at 240, I believe it was. So I felt comfortable taking pop shots, just getting in, holding it, see if I get a penny or two out of it. And this was no different. This is what I tried here at 1331, got in right here. You can kind of see it on a 5 minute kind of drop and pop back up, then consolidate. I was hoping to break out again, just didn't come, and I ended up selling this one. Let's look, for basically break even a couple minutes later. OSUR, this one was a news play. They announced that they had like $100 million deal. They didn't give a time frame on it, so I was a little hesitant to really hold this thing. But as you can see on the daily chart, it was been really beaten down recently. Had a 9% short interest, so I knew it could move. I didn't think it was going to move as much as it did. Kind of see that on the 5 minute chart. It went all the way to 1650, 1677. No, it went as high as $17 today. And I got in when I heard the news at basically 14 bucks right here. I got in at $14, and it just went nutso, and I scalped it for 15 cents. Popped up to 14.17, and I sold right there. So it just ended up moving basically $3, $2.50 without me. But nonetheless, got my base hit, moved on. VSell, another news play, had good news. I can't remember what it was, to be honest. Like I said, so many trades today. But went long when I heard the news, and for 37, almost top ticked it again. See the trend happening? And it just sold off. And when it started to sell off hard, I mean, it dropped so hard. I was like, oh my gosh. So it started to move back up. Oh, and it was a drug approval. That's what it was. It was a drug approval, and it just sold off hard. And it started to move back up, and I was just lucky enough to get out. It was a 5 cent tick, so it was harder to trade. Lucky to get out, you know, -5 on 3,000 shares. It's $150, but it was way worse. I mean, it was down at 415 here from my 437 entry. So just did actually get to where I could have been profitable on it, but you know, just happy to get out and not take a huge loss. So dries, some volume started to come into it big time. You kind of see it on the 5 minute, just consolidating, and then boom. So I thought maybe someone knew something on the earnings report that's coming out tomorrow morning. You decided to see that here. I went long when I saw this. Sure enough, about top ticked it again. Got within 2 pennies, and it just couldn't get over that, you know, 450 mark. So it started to come back down, and I ended up selling. Let's see, over here sold for let's see, 437, about 2 cent loss, $40. PRQR had some news out. Again, can't remember what it was because there's so many trades today, but when I heard it, got long at 324, popped up, sold at 331. Nice win there. 7 cents on 2,000 shares. DMPI also had some news out. Again, I apologize, I can't remember what the news was, but it was enough to get the stock to move. Went long 4,000 shares at basically 88, and I sold my first lot at 89, right inside the same candle, just to lock in some profit. So about 2 cents in my first lot, and my second lot at 92 inside of this pop here. It did end up breaking $1 later on, so that was actually surprising. But nonetheless, happy with the trade. Moved on. So I was watching dries, and I was like, okay, sympathy playtime. I bought some tops in sympathy to dries. The risk reward was great, or awesome in my favor. You say this huge area of consolidation. You can see it on the 5 minute, just consolidating for all day long. So worst case scenario is it just break even, maybe lose a penny. Went long 5,000 shares, ended up selling, basically break even. I think made $5 on the trade. It did get a bit of a move later on, but I didn't want to stick around for it. And that brings me to IZEA, the stock that finally made me some money today. Had some news out. They put out a tweet saying that they just welcoming one of the largest superstore chains to working with IZEA. When I heard that, I knew the stock's a former runner. It's a tinderbox, just ready to go. Bought 4,000 shares, basically at 452 average. Right when I heard the news, right inside this candle here. I just hit buy twice, bam, bam, got filled. Big volume coming in. I sold my first lot at 468 just to lock in some profit, and then the rest I just let ride. Broke five, and it halted. And out of the halt, I sold out of the halt at 526 right here. Didn't think 550 was going to break, but didn't care either way. I just wanted to lock in that profit over $5. That was my goal there. And that win right there was my last trade of the day and just brought me to very green. It's like I could have just not traded all day, just waited around for 3 o'clock to roll around just to set me up. So anyway, those are my trades. Not the prettiest day at all. I hate trading that much, but you got to do what you got to do. So again, as always, invite you to my free Discord chat, and also if you're interested in any of this chat rooms that I subscribe to, the link for those are in the description down below.